go. Look at that.
Yay.
All right. Now we're going to share again. Okay. Fantastic. Woo! I think we're off and running now. My apologies. 7 minutes late. So then I'll just talk super fast, so we'll end 7 minutes early. I doubt it. Thank you everybody for. It looks like we've got a good group on tonight. So I'm really excited about this meeting, and I have huge apologies for canceling the last one. Usually I'm only a couple weeks late, but yeah, I definitely had too many things going on. And now I think one of the things that we're going to talk about is having the board. And so the greatest part about that is I'm going to actually have a team. So you guys are no longer stuck with just me. So I'm really excited about that too.
Oh, thank God.
Exactly. Oh. That's what my daughter would say.
I'm
Did
just
you say that, Susie?
No, I'm so tired of Mom. So yeah, I can't talk her into coming to any of the meetings. She's a paid member, but paid via my bank account. So, so, all right. So I'm just going to go ahead and we'll just go through our mission and purpose, serve as a historical, patriotic, and non-political international organization dedicated to honoring the legacies of those who served in the Vietnam War, to create a community that connects, supports, and advocates for each other. Maintain and upkeep memorials created to honor the Vietnam War, to educate and inform those seeking information and history on the Vietnam War, and to work with and support the National Vietnam War Museum in promoting an understanding of the Vietnam War for generations to come. And on our agenda today, we'll go over our finances, talk some more about advertising, and talk about our memberships, because now we're in our renewal seasons. We're going to go into how we're going to do our elections and talk about some bylaws. And I'll give you an update on the basket raffle that I know everybody is excited about getting an update on how the spring fundraiser went. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the grand opening. The museum also has the curator position open right now. So we are currently interviewing for that. So that's open. And then old business always is our scrapbook. We're pushing for that. So we've got quite a few already, but if you don't have it in, well, okay, I'll get you that in a minute. Because I don't have mine. So right into our financial report. So paid memberships to date are 87. And as for our renewals, we only.
Katie, were you supposed to be sharing?
Oh, really? I'm not sharing?
Sorry, I just thought sounded like you were going over something on the screen. And
no, I am going over something on the screen, but I don't like to share.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you.
All right. I'll just let me just see something here really quick. There we go. This is, look at that. This is the artwork that's on that sign. This is a little more close up of the artwork that's on that sign back there. This Crystal Hudson, who's again on our call, she designed this. Isn't it beautiful?
Well,
I really
I
like.
love it.
okay.
Who are all those people?
I know, right there.
Let me guess who the inquisitive little person was who asked who those people are. Those are canned images. I wish that I had headshots of group members to use on the project, but we did not. And in the interest of time, we had to move ahead with some canned images. So perhaps so we can take some photos at the grand opening, and I'll have those assets to use in the future.
I really like that idea. Yeah. But I think it looks beautiful. So I'm happy. And that's what's on our poster. And the cool thing is she also was able to add a QR code to it as well. So people can just zoom right to that QR code. And as you guys know, if you go to the sons and daughters page with the museum, it has that form at the bottom where people can just fill out right there. And then we can send them an email with the application link and everything. So that's kind of exciting. So yeah, so this is our, and then I already read you the mission. As much as you guys, I'm sure, want me to read it again, I'm gonna go ahead and skip that. Our agenda I already read off, and I know you don't want to hear me talk more than I need to. So moving on, here is our financial report. And I am happy to say, hopefully this is the last time I have to do this, because we will have a treasurer for the next meeting. So paid memberships to date are 87. And we have, so I just sent out renewals. There were 15 people that had signed up in May of last year. And so of those 15, 4 of them have renewed. So, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in another slide.
Not to interrupt you, did you get my check
Oh, I don't think so. When did you send it?
last week?
Oh, I have not, but you know what? Honestly, like, I'm realizing that the mail is ridiculous. Some things are taking a couple of weeks.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, yeah. But you could be like me. I'll have to show you. You'll love this. I sent out a bunch of membership certificates. And those jerks at the post office, they sent this one back to me. I wonder what I'm missing. This is where my head has been lately. Renita, this is actually yours. So yeah. So hopefully, yeah, they probably don't even like me at the post office anymore. But anyways, so yeah, so we have I sent out the renewals via Square, but I'll probably also, after 30 days, if they haven't paid on Square, then I'll probably send out a mail with a stamped envelope. Just because I know there's a lot of people that really don't like to pay via Square. So yeah, so that's sort of my plan, is to save money. We'll just leave it as Square for the first 30 days. It gives them a reminder. They get 4 reminders once a week if they haven't paid, and then if they do. So and then we did get another anonymous donation of $500, which was very cool, because we'll talk about that in a little bit, but that was something that was, so our total income $3,775. And then these are all of our costs so far. New costs since our last meeting is the banner, the one behind me, that was $219. We also are going to have a cost for brochures. The reason that I have not sent brochures out to send off is the brochures were really about that first year. I had about 100 of them. And I kind of thought maybe we shouldn't send those out, because they had things that were specific to the founding year, and also had some board member names on it that are no longer active. And so I just kind of thought, and I'll show you what the new version of it looks like in another slide. But so that's why people that have asked to have brochures to pass out haven't received them. I really want to finalize. I'm sure I'll pull Crystal into that, just kind of finalize what the final brochure looks like. And then we're going to print 5,000 of them. And so then people that do want them, you'll have to tell me again, unfortunately, but I will send them out so that you can bring them to your VFWs or your meetings or whatever. So, and then, yeah, and another pending cost obviously is going to be our plaque, and I'll talk a little bit about what we're going to do for that. I'm really actually excited about how that turned out. I was thinking it was going to be a lot more than it's going to be. So, so our total expenses to date are $1,014.43, leaving us with just a little over 2,700 in our bank account. So I think that's good, good account. Does anybody have any questions about? Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? There is another order for stamps that did go in. I think that was about $100. I didn't add that in. I forgot it. That came out of my own checking account. So I'll put that in, and that you'll see that in the next meeting. See why I need a treasurer. So any questions? Nope. All right, moving along. The new brochure. So like I said, I'd like to print 5,000 of them. I did find a place online that would print them much cheaper than my local print shop. I prefer to be, stay local, but they were just, I mean, so much more expensive, like 4 or 5 times more expensive than if I just go online and print them. So, and I'd like to get this done and ordered in the next probably less than a week so that I can have a good amount of them to bring down to the museum with me for the grand opening at the end of June, because I anticipate people wanting those brochures for the grand opening. So, and the banner, oh, I already talked about that. The banner for the museum's complete. I am going to, let me see if I can get, let's see, do we have the PowerPoint? Slideshow. Let me see if I can't. Oh, I can't open. But yeah, so I will, this is just a little, oops, that was just a little idea of what the new brochure sort of looks like. It does take off the founding member stuff. And then I did add the QR code along with Crystal's art to the back of it, so people can easily access our site. So I think we've definitely improved the brochure, but anybody who's, artsy or who's, wants, I am by no means, this is not my strong suit. So that's why I love having Crystal, because it is hers and she makes everything look so nice. So yeah, so that's where we are with the brochure. Is there any questions on that? Any comments, anything?
Katie, this is Leila. Could you just and forgive me, this is my very first meeting, so I'm a little behind the 8 ball. But can you give some more examples of places that you prefer, or places that are approved, if you will, for us to distribute the brochures?
Sure. And that's a really great question. Great point. Honestly, I think at this point, we haven't really put any restrictions on where they can be distributed. I think, our reach is, is just trying to get, so I know that we've had some people that were at veterans events that, passed some brochures out. There are people that, anytime there's, veterans fundraisers or, veterans events or parades or something, we've had people pass those out, and there are some people that I know Crystal has, I think you've handed some out at various veteran events, because the other thing is we see a lot of veterans out there who want to get their children involved. So a lot of times they're very receptive to taking these brochures and bringing them back home. And I have a number of veterans actually who pay for their children to be part of the group. So yeah, so I don't really think we've put any restrictions on, on that. I again, I'm just leading the pack. So if anybody has any comments on, on that, I for sure open. But I don't think we have any restrictions at this time.
Hey, Katie, I think because they are brochures, at least I know here in Maryland, like I would ask the businesses, I would ask the VFWs, our libraries.
Yep.
I would ask if it's ask if it's appropriate to put them out, because a lot of places, they have the community boards or community areas, whatever. So as long as you ask, I think pretty much anywhere.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah. So did we answer that for you?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Good. Okay. So yeah, and again, just, pushing that, I think, our first year was really sort of collecting names. We had a couple of speaker events that I thought, were really good. We've got a couple that are in the pike for this year that I think are going to be excellent, including one on sort of caregiving. So I think, I think there's some good stuff in the pike, and I really see this year as a big movement year for us. So if you've been a part of the group for the last year, may have seen us just sort of kind of getting our, our feet wet and just figuring out really what we want the group to be. And now I think we're going to be able to have a lot more action, and we're going to really, I think our reach is going to expand significantly because of that. So I was excited to start the group, but I'm actually more excited about this year because I think that, I like action. So we'll see. But, talk to your friends, talk to your family, and, certainly share, when we're having a meeting, share it on your Facebook, let people know so that, we get people to come in and join us and see what's going on and see if it's something they're interested in. I think, as we've talked in the past, our group is very different from other groups out there in the sense of, we're connected to the museum, and, we're also active, right? We're having our meetings, we're collecting our dues, we're doing what we can to actually be actively out there. I know I belong to some groups, and they certainly have their importance. There are some groups out there where, you can use Facebook or you can use other sites to really connect and talk with, with other sons and daughters, which I think is great. But for us, I think we want to be more physically active, be out in the communities, be making sure that, our war monuments are being taken care of, making sure that, we have. So there's a lot on the table for what we can do, which I think is what sort of sets us apart from other groups that, and that I'm even a part of too. That everybody has their, their purpose, and so I think ours is just a little bit different than others. So yeah. So talk to your friends, talk to your family, share Facebook, Instagram, everything.
Katie, can we go back to that for 1 second? We had talked at one point about maybe transitioning to a Facebook page instead of the group. Is that still something?
Yeah. Yep. It's still in the work. We have less than 100 people that are following the page, and we have almost 400 on the group. So I'm hesitant to cancel one and, start. So right now,
Sure.
I'm kind of running them both. And yeah, and hopefully, I think once, I think maybe this year that'd be probably a goal is to get everybody transitioned over to the page. There's more benefits in having a page than a group. And so, we can advertise a lot more, and you can't really advertise within a group, but you can advertise when you have a business page for Facebook. So yeah, so that is for sure a goal. I'm hoping it's one that the board can sort of jump in and help me out on, because I'm not getting a lot of people to transition over to the page. Right now, it's difficult to be a part of the page and the group because really you're getting duplicate notices every time something happens, right? Because we're posting it to the page and we're posting it to the group. So it could almost be an annoyance. So I'm not really sure on that one.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Any other questions? Good. Okay. So our membership, nothing's changed in our, we have the lineal, the collateral, and the friends. But new, we did add veteran. We have some veterans that have wanted to join our group, and they, we've printed out certificates for them. And so, but we didn't actually officially have veteran as a checkbox on the application. And so I did add veteran. So, and I think membership fees at this point for renewal, I had to make a decision because we had to start renewals. So we'll just keep that at $25. And so, and like I talked about earlier, those are being currently processed through Square. 15 were sent out 2 weeks ago, 5 have renewed, and Square can actually automatically send out yearly invoices. And you also have the ability via Square to set up to automatically pay every year. And I know once the board is set, one of the things we're going to talk about is a lifetime membership. So we'll be putting that out as well, but that's not a decision that I wanted to solely make or should make solely. So that'll be a decision that a number of the board will come up with and vote on. And so that is also in the works. Don't let it, if your renewal comes up, don't let it stop you from renewing. because if you do renew and we put that number out, we'll make sure we take out whatever, take out your $25 from it. So you won't have to pay your annual and a lifetime. We'll take out, so just so that you know, so don't let it stop you. But one of the other questions that, that I want to sort of get some feedback on is, the sons and daughter pin that you get when you sign up and get your thing. Let's see, I think I have one of them right here. I'm not sure if you can see that, but that's what our pin looks like. So it's a very nice pin. But I was sort of thinking that, at renewal, I mean, I think advertisement is great. And, when we have giveaways or whatever, but I know that I just got done doing a giveaway where we printed out tote bags and they were like $3.25 a piece for the tote bag. Probably would be a couple of dollars to mail it with the renewal, but I always think it's nice to offer something at renewal. So does anybody have any thoughts on that? Or
I love that, as long as it's something that is practical, like a bag or functional. It gives us another way to, hesitate to say advertise, but to advertise or to raise awareness about the group. People see something and they'll start a conversation with you long before they don't see something.
Yeah, I agree. Great points. Yeah.
Katie, what
Katie?
about
Like to see a
what about
t-shirt.
like pins with the year mark on them? So as a person gets close to like 5 years with the group, 5-year member, they get a 5-year pin.
I love that.
I
idea.
like-
Yeah, I really like that idea. Luckily, we have a little time to come up with that one, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
it seems like the system will help keep track of it.
Yeah. No, I like the idea of a 5-year pin or even a lifetime member pin too.
Yes.
Maybe we don't even need to wait for the 5-year. Maybe once we do the lifetime member, that, that'll be something that we'll offer with that, because I think we need to offer a couple of different options or different, things with the lifetime membership.
So Katie, there's been some other ideas given on the chat here. Stickers, decals, t-shirts, mugs, hats, shirts. Crystal said she'd be interested in a patch.
Oh, yeah. We've had a few people that have asked us for a patch. I'll be honest, I think that we're going to be doing the patch anyways, but as I think I was talking to someone who does, it's like a drop shipping kind of a thing. You can design multiple things online and then people order, and then there's sort of a cutoff date, and then they all, so we don't ever, so it's not like we're sitting on the inventory. If 10 people order, they'll make 10 shirts and send them out right from there. And then we get whatever profit is made after, after costs and everything. So I think like t-shirts and hoodies and a patch for sure are all things that I discussed with this person that we'll probably do for payment, or, that people can purchase. But again, that's just my opinion. That's, in talking, that's why I love that we're going to have a board. So please keep sending the ideas, because I hope somebody is Ziri, by any chance taking notes? No.
I have a few.
No. What I think I can save the chat at the end. So yeah, send me, but also I love the emails. So if you have some ideas, or if somebody's in advertising or somebody's in this business and has some ideas, please shoot me an email and let me know. And then what we'll do is we'll just bring it all up, and we can even do a poll on Facebook to see what most people would be interested in too, and and get those ideas out, because I obviously don't want to solely make that decision either, but I do think that we should offer something for renewals. So
Yes, and I think it should be kind of gender neutral as well. Like not all men are going to want to carry a tote bag, but maybe something like a sticker, bumper sticker, or window cling or something.
Yeah,
So that
yeah, you're probably right.
That would be nice for the first year. And that's something you can easily send in an envelope. So it's cheap too.
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, cheap.
I'd like a sticker for my, back of my car.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I've
would
been-
too.
Vinyl decal.
Yeah, I really
Agreed.
do like that idea. It'd be very, very inexpensive too. So, yeah, so maybe we'll look at something like that that can just be thrown into an envelope and sent off, that people can throw on their car or on their computer or whatever. I think I got like 10 vinyl decals on my computer. So, okay. Well, that was my biggest thing that I wanted, was sort of feedback, whether we should have a giveaway. I think now that we know we should have some sort of giveaway, then you'll get some more, you'll get some communication from me on figuring out what that giveaway should be, and we'll all have a say in that. So, all right, I will move right along here. Our membership plaque. So I just got done speaking. He's local in Minnesota here. So the thing is what the kind of plaque that we would be ordering is what's called a perpetual plaque, right? So we have 87 names to put on the plaque. And so on top of ordering the plaque, each name would be a minimum, or each little individual plaque would be a minimum of $5. It was $5 to $7 for each engraving thing. And so if you do the math, that's like all of our money. So that was just not going to work. And then I talked with someone else who is familiar with this, and they said, well, are the names going to change? Are you going to continue to add? And I said, no. I said, we have all of the names, and it's just a one-time print. So their suggestion was to laser print on one sheet. So it's just a one print. And the gentleman that I spoke to said, oh yeah, he said, we can do that for about $100, $120. And then I explained to him what we needed, that it needed to be a nice plaque, that it, and so he said, yeah, he said, we can mount it. We can, add your logo to it. We can, so there was, and he said it can all be done within, 7 to 10 days. So we're still, we still will have this available for the grand opening. But yeah, and he said there's just multiple types of acrylic or brushed metal that he has mounted onto wood, and it's really looked very nice. So I'll go into his shop and get more, a better idea. But you're gonna just have to trust me that it will look nice. And all of your names will be at the museum on this wonderful plaque, but that's how it's going to be. It's just going to be a one-time printing. Now, I do have a printer down in Texas who I have spoken to. So I sent out an email to every one of the paid members with their name, that if you see a mistake, let me know. He said, if we have missed anybody, that he could probably take the plaque down and add that after the fact. If we happen to miss somebody, I think I'm pretty good about keeping track. I have all of the everything. So yeah, so I feel good that there won't be any reasons. But he is here in Minnesota. I think the approximate cost with the mounting, and this is really on the high end, is $250 to $300. I doubt it. I think that it's probably not even going to be over 200, but I wanted to be conservative in case we want to do anything special that, and I'm not sure with the logo, because that'll be a different kind of printing. Obviously, we don't want them to laser that on because we want it to be in color. So yeah. So any questions on that?
Sounds great.
Okay, I went ahead and made the executive decision for how I'm doing that. So, okay, so leadership nominee elections. We have elections. I'm so happy about this. Although nobody is running against me for president. Vice President, we have Dennis, who's on our call, and Todd as well, Todd Wilbur, who's on our call. And Secretary, we have Becca and Deborah. I think both of them are absent. No, Becca's here. Becca's here. Yep. And, but I don't think Deborah is. And then Treasurer, running unopposed, will be Crystal. And then I have General Board. We have 8 positions open. And as you can see, we have a lot of other names. Now, I asked for bios from everybody, and then I told them it was urgent that they send me the bios. And I was going to go over, but the bios are very, they're not short. They're all fairly lengthy. And so I know you guys would love to hear me talk all night, but I chose not to read off and include the bios in the meeting tonight because I want to be fair to everybody and try and collect a bio from everyone instead of just highlighting the people who were able to get them to me on time. So if you're on the call and you're running for a board position and you have not sent me your bio, please do that because this weekend, probably Saturday or Sunday, is when I'm going to release all of those bios. And then I am trying to find an online system for voting. So if you're a paid member, and if you've been a paid member, so even if you haven't renewed yet, if you've been a paid member, you do have the opportunity to vote. Just because we're running late on the votes, and they were we should be done before our first renewal. But so yeah, so we have 8 board positions that are open, and we have 4 of with the president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer. So there'll be a total of 12 people on the board. So
Hey, Katie, you might find what you need in SurveyMonkey.
I was thinking that.
That's what I was going to suggest too.
Yeah. Okay. Because they're free for like up to 100.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's perfect for.
Yeah, I did things, gosh, probably 10 years ago through SurveyMonkey. So I wasn't sure if that was still, but so yeah, so that's perfect. So if you're a paid member, then you'll probably receive a SurveyMonkey on Sunday with that information for voting. So that is a #1 priority so that I can get some people on board. If you're not on this list and you were interested, if you could just shoot me a message and let me know so I can get you on that final list. And like I said, if you haven't sent in your bio too, if you could just shoot me an email with that. So any questions on this? Okay.
No.
Moving right
Katie,
along.
my only question with the ballot for the 8 board members, I see names for the offices that are also listed under the general board members. Are those names going to be on the ballot as well?
They will be on the ballot, and if they win one of the 4 positions, if they got a high vote on the general board, they'll be striked from the general board.
Okay.
So yeah, so their names will appear in both places.
Okay.
All right. Our fundraiser, I know you guys were all excited about this. Oh, it was amazing. It was so great. So the interesting thing is they had, which, due to everything, COVID and, everything, they had less attendance this year and actually made more money.
Wow.
So yeah, so it was a pretty amazing fundraiser. The numbers came in right around 25,000 for the night, and almost 900 of that was from us. So we had 18 baskets, and those 18 baskets brought in almost $900.
Nice.
And Dennis, thank you so much for getting all of those donations that you got. They were fantastic. Everybody, there were people, a lot of people will leave, after dinner because they don't want to stick for the auction, but they stayed around because they wanted to know if they won a basket. So yeah, and it was awesome.
That's great. That's
Everyone
awesome.
had fun with the baskets for sure. They really, the attendees really enjoyed that.
Yeah, this was for anybody who's new on this call. The baskets were a brand new thing this year. So at the fundraiser, which is in person at the museum, they have a silent auction, they have a live auction. And this year, the sons and daughters wanted to help out with the fundraiser. So what we did is we solicited donations and baskets. We had an Amazon list out there where you could purchase off the Amazon list. And we sold tickets for $1, and then you could just fill out the ticket and put it in the box of whatever item you were hoping to win. And so, yeah, so we sold almost 900 tickets, which is pretty amazing. That's great. And I know there is a lot of people that donated. Dennis really did a lot of work and for months beforehand, trying to help us to solicit donations and everything. And there were a lot of people that donated baskets. So yeah, so it was definitely popular. People liked it. I think it's something we'll continue to do. And I think that as the numbers for the fundraiser go up, the numbers for our baskets will continue to go up too. But the cool thing is not one single basket made less than what we paid for it. So that was good.
Cool.
Yeah. So which isn't, I've done basket raffles many times and that's not always the case, but it was the case for us. So and the baskets were nice. So yeah. So any questions on that? Any thoughts, feedback?
No, you guys did a great job displaying them though. It looked really cool.
That was all Crystal.
Good job, Crystal. I wish I was there. It looked awesome.
Yeah, I wish
you guys should have seen me to have to take Katie by her shoulders because she was so stressed out about making everything look so nice. You know, I said, "We've got this, Katie. We can do this."
really did. I just need to carry Crystal in my pocket for the rest of my life. I was like, I don't think they're not going to fit. And there was no room. And we're like, calm down. We got it. Like,
Yeah.
Yep. And we sure did. They looked amazing. I could have used about 10 other people to help at the end with the drawings, because I feel like those took a long time, but Susie appreciated that they took a while because that slowed her down at the checkout.
Hopefully next year
Yeah.
I'll be able to help.
Oh, I love it. Yes.
Oh, yes. I didn't get bombarded by people all trying to check out at once. So that was really nice. But yeah, getting set up was way more stressful than the actual selling of the basket. So good job, everyone.
That's because we had alcohol while we were selling, but not while we were setting up.
Next year.
We have to plan that way better. All right, I'm going to move along. The grand opening. So we do have a special reserved section for our sons and daughters, and not just you. Obviously, we're not going to make you sit away from your guest if you have a guest, but it's just very important that I have those numbers because we have to set up the chairs for that area. So if you are attending the grand opening, which is June 25th, then and you have not told me already. If you've told me already, then I have a list going right now of seats. But if you have not told me already, if you could let me know right away so that I can get those numbers down to Jim so that he has those chairs set up. Yes, Pat?
2.
Oh, yes. Okay. Let's see. Pat Miller equals 2. Okay. So, and we will be having a brunch, which I know is on the, there's an invitation on the Sons and Daughters Facebook group that has the information about the brunch. The brunch is going to be, the time is off on that invitation only because we weren't sure exactly what time it was starting. It is before the grand opening though. And the grand opening is at 10 a.m. is what time. So the brunch, they keep calling it a brunch, but it's really not a brunch. It's a very early breakfast. So, but you all are invited to that. There will be special guests at that. There's going to be the keynote speaker, some high-ranking military. There's going to be the board members. I'll be there. some other special guests. So make sure that you let me know if you have checked that you are going to attend via that Facebook invite. You will be hearing from me in the next week to verify, because the numbers for that, obviously it's a catered thing, so we need to be as close as possible. So yes, so if you are planning on attending that the get together before the opening ceremony, if you could just let me know. You can let me know via email or by RSVPing yes. Not interested, you have to RSVP yes to the to that. So that's for our paid members.
Katie? Yep. How far is the airport? What airport would we fly into if we could go?
Yeah,
DFW.
I'd fly into Dallas Fort Worth, and it's about an hour drive from there.
Okay.
I'd plan, most days though, I'd plan about an hour and 15 minutes to get out to Mineral Wells. I live in the area, so depending on what time of day that you come in, you really need to plan at least an hour and 15 minutes. And
Okay.
DFW would be your best bet. If you go into Love Field, it's further. It's a longer drive. You'd have to plan at least an hour and a half. But Southwest only flies into Love. So if you fly Southwest, you could only go into Love Field.
Okay. So Southwest would be the best.
Well, no, I'm just saying, if you fly Southwest, they only go to Love Field. They cannot fly into DFW. DFW does not accept their flights.
Okay.
But
Gotcha.
all other airlines fly into DFW.
But yeah,
Okay.
an hour and a half
Yeah.
most from either airport.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So yes, so invitations were sent out, an email was sent out to all the members, and is there any questions? I'm really so excited about the grand opening. The museum is really coming along. I was, like I said, I was just down there, and it's just, it's exciting to just see everything coming together. So, okay.
Question.
I will
Real
actually,
quick. Question real quick.
Yeah.
I didn't get an invitation
Oh, you didn't?
unless it's in the mail, and I haven't got to the post office yet.
All right, let me, no, we sent out, I sent out an evite via email.
Okay, and I didn't remember seeing one, but I'll look again.
Okay.
I didn't either. Katie, I didn't get one either.
Really?
Neither did I.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Oh, I'm so glad I'm not the only one.
I wasn't invited either.
Nope.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's why you're not getting responses.
You know what? I think, Katie, I think the invite was in an email.
No, I did include it in an email. In the email, though, I said that you would be on the lookout for
Because
the.
so when I received it, it was like in the middle of an email.
Yeah,
You
no,
were- you had given some other information.
sure, yeah.
and if you hadn't gone all the way through it, you wouldn't have. I didn't get anything other than that.
This happened to me. I know, I'm fairly certain I know exactly what happened, because this happened to me years ago for work. I actually got in a lot of trouble for it, because Evite has a thing where you can select all the people that you want to send it to, but then there's that last step of like a whole other screen that's like submit, and I just never did that. We had a work event that I just never did it for. So I'm wondering if I thought I submitted, and I wonder if nobody got the Evite.
No, I didn't get it either, so I must have went out.
Okay.
No.
All right. So you'll be getting that.
Nope.
I'm guessing after the meeting, all I have to do is go in and hit the submit button. So see why I need a team. I'm just making it very obvious tonight why I clearly need a team. So, all right. I'm going to move right along. The curator job, I'm not going to spend a heck of a lot of time on this. I just want you guys to be aware and pay attention, especially if you're in the area and you know someone that's interested. We are very much looking to fill this curator position. It's a full-time position that's going to report to the board of directors at the museum. And I think I can send you send you this, but we are interviewing currently. We've got quite a lot of people that are applying right now. We're live via LinkedIn.
Okay, great. I'll, yeah, because I live in the area, so I know people in the area.
Yeah, I would love for people to be able to share it. So if you want me to email you this job description that you want to email out to someone else, just let me know and I can send it to you in Word.
That'd be great.
So perfect, yeah. And then moving right along, our scrapbook. I think we're pretty close to the end here. So our scrapbook, you guys, I feel sad for saying this because I don't have mine done.
Get her done, get her done.
No, but let's get it done. So the scrapbook is at the museum currently, but we have less than 20 pages in there. So just create your scrapbook. I know there's a few people that have said that they've been able to create it online on like walmart.com or something like that, and they can create it and send it directly in.
There's a few pages online. You can scrapbook online and they send it right to your house.
Yeah. And so you wouldn't even have to pay, the shipping to go from your house to, you could send it directly to, Karen Gregory is the one that's collecting them. I took her address out of this slide because there's been some confusion on she ended up closing the PO box. And so, but I'll post that again on the sons and daughters page for where you can send it. But yeah, get together with, with your family, or if you're a scrapbooker, or if you're not a scrapbooker and you're a digital person and you want to just create it online, and get that into the scrapbook. I think this is a really cool way to put your veteran in the museum and really honor who we're serving with the Sons and Daughters group. So,
I have a question about that. So I submitted one for my dad, but I have a friend who is a Vietnam veteran. Can I submit another one since it's a different person?
100%. Yep.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
The only rule that we have is just one per veteran. So any veteran that you want to honor, it doesn't have to be your family member. It doesn't have to be any veteran that that you want to honor. You can send a scrapbook page in for.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Good question.
And Katie, can I bring it with me?
Yeah, 100%. Yep.
Okay.
The book will be there, so just bring it and
Okay.
bring it into the museum. Yep.
Katie, is this something that I can share with my dad's VVA group?
Yeah, yes, absolutely. At this point, I am not limiting the scrapbook to Sons and Daughters members. I think that it's important to honor all Vietnam veterans. And I realize that at some point we might say, oh my gosh, we have way too many and we don't, but we're not there. And so the scrapbook is, it's fairly large. I mean, we could fit hundreds of pages in there, if not more than that. So at this time, I'm not limited. You don't have to be a paid member to submit a scrapbook page.
And get my
So yeah. And so far we haven't had any problems with, disturbing content or, whatever, but I know that, we all have some of us have some pictures that are disturbing or something. So if we could just be mindful of that, we don't want, we want to be careful of the content that we're putting on these scrapbooks. There'll be children that'll be going through the museum and everything. So yes, Pat.
Both my dad and my husband, who I'm going to sign my daughter up for, are deceased. Can I put their marker from the National Cemetery on the page?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think
okay.
We actually have a couple of scrapbook pages that have that on there. And I think it's a really neat thing to see.
Okay. I mean, that wouldn't be considered too.
Not at all.
Okay.
Glad you brought that up, Pat. Oh, sorry, Katie.
Oh, no, sorry. I was more talking about some graphic pictures and things that some of our veterans have that I just didn't want in there. But
yeah,
I think honoring their site for sure is a great thing to put on there.
So Katie, I was just saying, thank you, Pat, for saying that, because I did that for mine. I actually I take a lot of pictures. I did take pictures during my father's funeral. It was my dad. So, but I took a picture of his flag draped coffin and put that on my page. I wish I could share it with you guys just because I love it and I'm so proud of it, but it's going to be in the album. So it's already should be there.
Well, and if anybody has pictures of their scrapbook page and they want to send that to me, I'd love to do a special post with all of them. You know, we don't want to do 10, 20 different posts with but if you send them all to me, then I'll put together one post so that people can sort of get some ideas of, you know, what the scrapbook pages look like.
I'd love to see a digital version of it.
Oh, I would too. After all the work I put into mine, especially trying to
Yeah.
find the envelope.
Oh, yeah.
We could just put the link.
Question.
Yes, Pat.
I'm sorry, I have another question.
Okay.
My father was career Army, so he fought in both Korea and Vietnam. His thing that he uses to have displayed his medals, of course, have both. And I'm not gonna try to figure out what goes with what war or anything like that. But I mean, if there's a mention of another war, is that a problem?
Not at all. Not at all. No, and I think there should be. I think that, you know, I think that we want to honor the veteran, you know, and so I think any information that you want to put on there, I think that's the best part about a scrapbook page is that scrapbook pages tend to be personal, right? And so I think that we make them as personal as possible. And I think that we should include everything that we want to include. You have to think somebody's going to look at that page and see, you know, your veteran. And so however you want them to see that veteran is what you should put on your page.
Okay. I've never made a scrapbook page before, so.
Pat, I included my father's ribbons, all of that he wore on his uniform. I included the ribbons with that too. So it kind of tells his story based on the different, is it oak leaves? I think is what that's called. The little metal things that are on there. Yeah. So that included all of that. So you could get a general overview of everything he did.
Yeah.
Stars, oak leaves.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a 12 by 12 page. And I know that mailing a 12 by 12 flat, but I know that some people, if they've made their scrapbook page, have actually rolled it up and put it into a tube and mailed it. So if you have to mail it, that's one way, you know, one way to do it as well, just for another idea, if you don't create it digitally. So, but yeah, I think just tell the story how you want to tell it, you know.
We're local to Mineral Wells. Can we just drop it off?
Yes. Yes. The scrapbook is currently in the museum. It's up in the art gallery. So you can drop it off and put it right into the book.
Okay. I'm just asking because I'm not in Mineral Wells. I'm in Fort Worth, but I'm in Mineral.
Oh, I think you cut out. Yeah, no, if you're local or you're coming to the grand opening or something, you can bring it that day too and put it right into the book. So no problems whatsoever. But yes, so put it on your to-do list, set your Siri to remind you every day, do whatever you need to do. And let's get that book filled. And I think there's going to be a lot of people there for that grand opening. And I think it'd be really awesome to have as much, you know, as many of our veterans represented for the Sons and Daughters group as possible. So
Katie, I don't know if you can see it in the chat. Can you guys see the picture? Did it show up? Did it work?
No.
No.
Well,
Well,
I downloaded it.
I emailed it to Katie so she can put it in the post.
okay, yes, I will.
Oh, yeah, it worked.
Oh, in the chat. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
There we go. Up scrapbook page.
Again, if I knew about digital, I probably would have gone that route. This took a lot of time and effort. Old school, very old school.
Potential security risk. What are you sending me? Let's click to open. Let's see if it's going to let me open it. Oh, hang on one second. And
It's very nice.
Thank you. I put a little bit of all of his life in it.
What?
he had 3 wives and he divorced them all before he married. That's why there is not a partner, because that was just way too much. Oh, look at that.
There we
Oh, that's nice.
That's very
Oh,
nice.
wow.
I like it.
Well,
I love it. That looks really great. That looks great. So yeah,
that looks really nice.
so yes, and that's the best part is that you get to make it whatever you wanna make it, and however you want to. So
It's like a gentle soul.
yeah.
Mhm.
So I think this is
Did you just say that about my dad?
He
what's
looks
that?
like a gentle soul.
Yes, thank you. That's so true.
He
Oh,
looks
thank
like a very
you.
gentle soul.
Oh, thank you. He was. I appreciate you saying that. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing that. Perfect. So,
Now I can't get back.
all
Oh.
right. I think, okay, I'm going to talk about the WIMSA group really quick. We need more people, but we are going to have our first meeting the week of June 2nd. We are really going to push for this. So what this is, for those that are new, is we're looking for a team of approximately 10. And we are going to create an exhibit. We've already been granted space in the museum, and the board of directors for the museum has agreed. So one thing that I noticed has been lacking in the museum, which to no fault to anyone, they are certainly working very hard to create this museum. But I was disappointed that there wasn't more about the service of women during the Vietnam War.
Oh,
And I'm really excited to be able to say that we have been approved. And so this is what the Sons and Daughters is taking on. So this will be an exhibit 100% done by the Sons and Daughters. I have spoken with WIMSA, which is Women in Military Service of America, and they are in Arlington. I'll be meeting with them in person in August to talk a little bit more in details, but they have a database of over 13,000 women veterans. And so what this group is going to be doing is we are going to be interviewing these veterans, as many as we can interview, and that their interviews will be part of the exhibit, of the final exhibit. We will also be creating a exhibit that will include uniforms, that will include, various things, but we are going to tell the story of the contributions of women during the Vietnam War. So that is, it's pretty amazing. I think that it's exciting. These interviews can be done in person. They have a database of these women veterans and women that were nurses, and, not all of them were enlisted. Some of them, there were many women that, that gave contributions during the war. And so, this group is going to conduct those interviews. We're going to collect data on what the women did. And from there, we're going to be able to design the exhibit. So that's another thing this group will do, that this specific subgroup. So not our Sons and Daughters group as a whole. You have to be a part of this subgroup in order to, to do this. We'll be doing some fundraising because we need to, obviously it's, not going to be free to create the exhibit, but that's down the line. I'm not worried about that. We'll also be collecting artifacts that will be included in this exhibit. So there's a lot of very cool things that are going to happen, and I'm really excited about this exhibit. And so this group will be meeting outside of our meetings, our membership meetings. And, at this time, we have 6 people who are interested. If you're interested in being a part of this group, shoot me a message. I will get you in that, and I will make sure that you are part of the Zoom. One thing that I do want to say for anybody who has signed up for this group is I'm very excited. I hope that what I'm about to say doesn't deter anyone or make them think that I'm not as excited as I am. However, I am not able to lead this group. So I am looking for somebody who's going to be able to, lead the meetings and lead the discussion, not necessarily be a president of this group, but just be somebody that can kind of, gather the crowds, I guess, and, have keep it organized. And so that's just not something that I honestly can't add another thing to my plate at this moment. So keep that in mind if you've signed up to be a current member. And Pat, yes, what can
I was just gonna say, my mother's passed away, but she's a member of WIMSA, but she wasn't Vietnam, she was Korea. And I'm involved with, because I'm by Fort Sill, which is a large military installation. And so there are a lot of retirees, and there is a boots on the ground woman who is not a nurse, who served in Vietnam, and I would love to interview her. And so there may be people in the area where I am. So I will send you an email just as a reminder. And no, I have a full plate, so I cannot be the coordinator. I'll throw that out there.
And you don't have to be the coordinator to join the group, but you know, I think that it's, to conduct the interviews, or even if you're willing to conduct an interview, put your name on the list for the group, because the group's going to be coming up with the questions that we should, because I want to try and keep to the same format at least. Obviously, some of these interviews will go off book somewhat, but we want to have, a general idea and everybody doing the same kind of interview. And so, if you're willing to do some interviews and maybe you're not interested in, just go ahead and, give me your name, and, we'll get you on that list so that, and they don't have to be done. I have a paid Zoom account. So, I can share that Zoom account with anybody. And so if you want to set up a Zoom meeting where, we can record your interview and you can do it online, that's an option as well. So if you don't want to interview the person in person and you'd rather do it online, we can certainly set up set that up, and we can work with you to schedule Zoom calls. So there's a lot of different ways that, that we can do that. But I think that it's great that we're doing this now, because as we all know, our veterans are getting older, and we're losing too many of them right now. And so to get some of those, some of those interviews recorded, and to be able to highlight some of that in the museum is just something that I'm so passionate and so excited about. So that's, I think the people that have already raised their hands to join, and again, even if you can only commit to one interview, but I think this group's going to do this subgroup's going to do some amazing things, and it'll be exciting, and hopefully it moves fast too, so that, this time next year we can be showing you what they've, showing you the exhibit. So we have been told that we can put the exhibit, they will make space for us to put the exhibit in the existing building right now. And then if we want to grow the exhibit, we can grow the exhibit to the second building. There is plans for a second building, but at this time, Jim has said, no, we can find you room in the existing building. So as soon as we are ready to go, we'll be able. And I know that when I talked to the woman at WIMSA, she said there's a lot of these women veterans who have a lot of uniforms and artifacts and various things that they've been trying to donate to WIMSA, and WIMSA says we just take any more of this. So the woman I spoke with was very excited about finding somewhere that those items could be on display. So there's certainly a lot of potential out there for this exhibit. So
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of our first big here's what we're doing. And there'll be a big area there that will show that this exhibit was done by the Sons and Daughters group as well. So we'll get, some good advertisement off of that as well. So any questions on WIMSA? I'm gonna move right along. I said I'd end 7 minutes early, but nobody really believed me.
Nope.
So interviewers, that's what we just talked about. We need people to commit to a few recorded interviews. I did get one person that jumped forward and said they'd help me with the newsletter. If anybody else is interested, there is no format to the newsletter. It's just some articles. If you want to write about, what the group's doing, we'll probably do something about this WIMSA project as well in the next newsletter. It's the museum newsletter. And so, so that goes out to the sons and daughters and the museum benefactors. So, and with that, I'm done. So maybe 7 minutes late. I still may have kept it at an hour, but what do you guys got? Yeah, any questions, any feedback? How are you feeling about the group? Anything?
So far, so good. I think we're on a good start.
Yeah.
Looking forward to growing more this year and doing more things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the easy part is starting a group. I think the hard part is going to keep it going.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We really have to stay active, and we really need to keep, and that was my downfall, but we really need to keep our meetings to, if we say it's going to be a certain day, I need to keep it on that day, and really, because there's a lot of people that plan on that. So yeah, I think we'll be able, I really see us growing more, because I think once we get our names out there and once we get these brochures out there, I think, and get some promotional materials out there. And maybe, I personally love hoodies and sweatshirts and everything, and I'd love to have one with our logo on it. So, getting some of those items out there, and just really getting some, some recognition. And with this, with this WIMSA project too, as well, for me, I see that as advertisement. I really see us being able to, send what we're doing, or even when we're done, sending that kind of stuff out to news outlets and everything, and really showcasing, the activity of our group, and letting people know that, we're not just an online Facebook group, we're an active group. We've got a lot of responsibility on our shoulders as sons and daughters to continue the legacy. And so, yeah, so I think I know a lot of you, I've worked with a lot of you guys, and, a lot have reached out and have been helping and everything. So we've got a really great, active kind of base. So I think we got good things.
I'm so excited that this organization has come to be. Being a middle-aged daughter of a Vietnam veteran, and a niece of one, I just see, like you said, we're losing our World War veterans, and we're losing our Korea veterans. And so our Viet vets are coming to the forefront, as they should. And they have the monuments, and the monuments are wonderful. But I think this is great to continue to focus attention on their service. And I'm really excited about WIMSA. Being a registered nurse, not a military nurse, mind you. I had enough military as a dependent, but as a nurse, I'm glad to see the WIMSA, because there were and not all, but there were so many nurses, and they have harrowing tales to share of their service. So it just thrills me, and I wish I had found out about it earlier, but when my dad brought me the application and he said, "Do you want to do this?" And I looked at it and I just had a fit, and I said, "Heavens, yes, why am I just now getting this?" So hats off to you, Katie, for everything that you have done to get this off the ground. There's a big need for it, and some of us are painfully passionate about making it work. We have lots of veterans health facilities, lots of VA facilities in the area. And I'm already trying to think of veteran groups that I can take brochures to say, if you're a Vietnam veteran, anyway, yeah, I'm very excited.
Oh, I love that. I love hearing that. Thank you. Yes, Pat.
Just one final comment. I'm involved with some veterans groups in the area where I live, primarily because I'm a member of Gold Star Wives of America, a large widow group. Most of our widows are from Vietnam veterans, and of course, most of them are mothers who have children who fall. So I'm thinking and just ruminating on, okay, how do I kind of get the information out for that? Texas is also one of the largest states for veterans and retirees, and also for widows like me. And so, I never miss a chance to honor either my father or my husband. Their circumstances were different, but that's okay. And so, yeah, even if someone is, I'm not middle-aged, I'm old. And so, I mean, people my age, I was 12 when my dad went to Vietnam in 1965. So, I was still a kid. But yeah, there's a lot of probably resources out there that are not the traditional, let's go to the VFW and the American Legion. So yeah, I think if we all kind of think outside the box, we might come up with anything.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's a lot of opportunities, and I think that there's a lot of people out there that, just really have no idea that we're happening, and, that we're going on. And I think when you search for sons and daughters of the Vietnam War, you end up with, a lot of a multitude of groups, and it's kind of hard. Some of them are difficult to navigate what the purpose is, or so I think we just need to get out there physically with our brochures and everything, and really spread the word that we're an active group that is actively looking to do something outside of social media.
Area that we can open up to. I work for a defense company, and one of the things that we do is have, they're called business resource groups in the corporate world, and we always try to reach out because we're a defense company. I work for Lockheed Martin. We are one of the biggest defense companies, and so we always try to, one of the things that is very, we reach out to our veterans groups. There's a veterans business resource group. So I provided the sons and daughters information to that resource group that's local, so that hopefully they could provide that information, because not only do we have a big, large veteran group of employees, but we also have a large group of people that are sons and daughters of veterans that work for the defense industry. We may not have served as a veteran, but we serve in a different role. We serve to provide for our defense through working at that company. And so if you work in a corporate area where you can provide that to your business resource areas where they can provide that information out, that's another way to get it out there in a different venue, non-traditional venue.
Well, and I think there's a lot of non-traditionals. I know that I personally, have had to go to the VA to take my father there. And so, if I was to see a brochure at the VA for a son and daughter group, that would be, a lot of times we're just sitting in a waiting room waiting. So, Renita, I hope I'm saying that right. She has her hand up.
You said that perfectly fine.
Oh, I love it.
All right, perfect. KT, I don't, it's two E's, so I didn't know if there's an emphasis on the KT part. That's a little joke. All right.
She'll take all the emphasis she can get, Renita. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, KT. No. I actually found this organization because my father, he's a Vietnam veteran, but he recently passed away this past September. And one of his final wishes for a man who never really spoke much due to his trauma was that I write a book about him. And I remember asking my dad, how do you want me to write a book about you? And you hardly ever spoke,
Yeah.
And he eventually started sharing a whole lot of information for me. So once he passed away and I got, I don't want to say I got through the grieving process, but I got a little stronger. I started researching ways that, Vietnam veterans are remembered. And this organization honestly was one of the only ones that truly popped up that resonated with me, what I wanted, how I wanted to honor my dad, and not only my dad, but all other Vietnam veterans in particular, and veterans in general. My my advocacy got started with a veteran focus because of my dad and growing up the child of a Vietnam veteran. But also a lot of people don't realize, I thought my childhood was normal, but a lot of people don't realize, you know, how interesting it is to grow up with a father who by so many words had plenty of mental disabilities that stemmed from Vietnam. And so my father's mental issues became my norm.
Right.
You know, his beautiful mind to me, his mind was a beautiful mind to me. But then when as a kid, and I got around other kids and their dads, I was like, oh, my dad's different.
Right.
You know, I'm an older millennial. So when I was born, my father was like in his late 30s. So he was well into being post-Vietnam. And so I just want to congratulate you, Katie, on coming up with such a tremendous organization, and all the founders of this organization. Congratulations. And I know I'm not in Texas, I'm in Arizona, but I do look forward to somehow, some way being involved with sons and daughter of Vietnam War. So thanks for having me, KT, and everybody.
Thank you for sharing. I hope you continue the book. I would love to read the book, and that's something we'd certainly put in the museum once it was finished. Just so that it was an interesting point. I actually received another email today, which I should have mentioned before. For anybody who doesn't know, I'm actually in Minnesota. Very few of our members are in Texas. So yeah, so that's, I think that, you know, that's the important thing about our group is that, you know, while I hope in the future to have some events in various places, once we get enough members in certain regions, then to have some in-person events. But for, you know, for our, with Zoom and everything, that's the best part about it is that we're spread all over the US. We even have someone from London and someone from Australia. So yeah, so we're all over the place. You definitely don't have to be in Texas to be an active member. So welcome. And like I said, you know, I'll get your address on your thing and actually mail it out. Like, it's so funny. I when it came back, I was like, oh, I guess I forgot something there.
Top secret.
Exactly. I'm like, if they could just read my mind, the world would be so much easier. So, well, great. Well, I think this was a great meeting. My apologies. It was a few weeks later than, but we'll get back on schedule. You know how summer goes, right? And get your scrapbooks done so we can fill that page. And, you know, let me know too, if you're doing something special like Renita is doing with, you know, writing a book and doing those things. You know, we definitely want to make sure that we're advertising for what, you know, our members are doing to honor their veterans. So, you know.
Katie, can I just add real quick?
I have a question.
Renita, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Jill.
Okay, Renita, I loved your story. My dad worked for Hershey for 32 years. And when I went to the community archives, I took all my stuff, including his Vietnam, like it was a big scrapbook. But I had original documents from Hershey, like that were to him. They weren't like secret or anything from Milton or whatever. But anyway, the archives ended up taking the entire scrapbook, including all his Vietnam stuff, because it told the whole story. And they were so, I don't know, archive people. But my point is that it was a small but yet big part of a bigger story of how this person got there. So
That's really cool.
I look forward to your book too, because it needs to be told. And I think that's why we're all here.
I haven't started it yet. I have to shuffle through. He also became a hoarder over the years. Yeah. So I have to shuffle through. I have boxes of paperwork and papers and letters and all kinds of stuff from that era. So I have to shuffle through everything, organize it, and then get it going. You know.
Well, that's good that you have all that, because that's where a lot of my stuff came through. And my dad died in 2006, and I actually just found stuff in my aunt and uncle's. So look through everything, even though it's grueling, but yeah, you're going to find all your answers there.
Check addicts.
Yeah, I loved the part where you talked about your norm, because I think something that I've talked with so many sons and daughters, and it was just interesting to me, the head nods that I see when you mention that, because we always, I mean, for me, my dad definitely has PTSD, and there were just certain things that were just normal for us growing up. We'd go to a restaurant, he had to have a wall to his back, we'd go, I mean, just various things that were just very normal in our family that I didn't know were not normal. And
Right.
My dad definitely has a paranoid streak. He has to check
Yep.
everything in.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we went through paperwork with my dad, who passed 2 years ago, I found his birth certificate in with the phone bill, and his marriage license was in with something random. And my stepmother told me, she said he was worried that somebody would get a hold of something that he didn't want them to see. So he had his own filing system. So what Jill said, go through every single piece of paper, you will find some treasures.
Right. Also, my dad has tapes. They're audio tapes that he sent back to my mom from his time in Vietnam.
Yep.
So you might, I don't know, since he was a hoarder, you might find some audio gems on cassette tapes. Because that was the way, they didn't have Facebook. They didn't have all the social media stuff we have. That was their social media.
and
Cassette tape.
Reel to reel.
Recording on
Yeah,
a
the
cassette
Yeah,
tape.
reel to reel.
The
You're right.
slide.
Yeah. Well,
I
his were
found- yeah.
just cassettes. These were cassette tapes. And he would send love letters back to my mom on cassette tapes. But he also recorded his missions.
Yeah.
He was a helicopter pilot.
Wow.
And
Oh,
he
wow.
recorded his missions. So that's why I'm
that?
saying, look and see if you find audio tapes from that time frame, because if you do, you have just an absolute treasure
Yeah.
trove of information from your dad.
Okay, okay, thanks, guys.
anybody
Yeah,
that
my dad has dementia, so I can't ask him these questions anymore.
No.
He's not completely gone, but we can't ask him any questions. So
And anybody that finds those reel to reel tapes, just so that you know, my dad, we found some from my dad. He didn't have a player. And so for Christmas last year, I found one online that was perfect, a little more expensive than I'd ever want to spend, but it was worth every dime. And so I currently do have a reel to reel player. And so I can play those, and I could, record them and send you a digital copy of them. So if you have those and have no way to play them, just reach out to me. Because I do have a reel to reel player. Not something I can travel with. I think it weighs about 500 pounds. But it works. We were able to listen to some tapes from my dad, and it was just amazing.
That's awesome.
And
That's
Renita,
amazing.
if you find things that are written, that are letters that your dad sent, my mom and dad had to do letters. There were no audio recordings, but mom and dad always wrote the number of that letter on the back of the envelope, because mail didn't always get there regularly. So they might get a note from a month ago and then get a note from 3 months ago. So just understand that if you find some stuff that was correspondence, you may see some numbers or letters or something that we typically wouldn't do with mailings. And it may have been a tracking thing for a timeline, because again, mail didn't always get there in the order it was sent.
Okay.
This is so helpful. I'm so glad we brought this up, because I have stuff to still look for. I think I'm gonna buy one of those machines so I can look at the slides. I guess there's slides.
Oh no.
I actually
I-
I have slides in front of me right now that I've been
What are
working
they?
with. There's a app
An
that
app?
I've been able to, you bring up through the app, it brings up a white screen on your computer. And then
What?
with your phone, you take a picture of it and it turns it into
Yeah,
a
photo
photo.
box.
It's
Photo
awesome.
box?
It's awesome. So I'm
What?
doing all my
What-
dad's
what
slides
app?
right now.
What app? I was gonna buy, I don't, waiting, because it's so
You got,
expensive.
you
This is
got,
what all my
you
dad's
have to
were on.
pay. They only give you a little bit for free. But let me
Oh.
see here.
I
Is it-
have the actual machine where you can put the slides in and then you like snap it and it puts that picture onto an SD card. And then I can download all the pictures. And I've actually been trying to do that because my dad had like 100 bazillion slides.
Wow.
And it's so overwhelming going through them. So my husband, God bless his soul, he just passed away. He had bought me this machine, and it's a slow process, but it's kind of cool going back, you know, because when he was in Vietnam, during Vietnam, I hadn't been born yet. So when he came back, that's when I was born. So, and then he really he was there, but he wasn't always there, if that makes any sense, like in his head. And then he passed away quickly. So I don't really know any stories, but I do have the pictures.
But you have the pictures, and that's where it starts.
Yes.
Just like Renita, what
Yes.
she'll find. Yeah.
And Jill, this is called
Yes.
slide. It's called slide scan. And here's, I don't know if, yeah, you can kind of, I mean, it did a good job. My background filter is kind of messing with it, but I mean, everything came out really clear. It brought all the colors
Slide
out. It's really cool.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Slide scan.
Good,
And it's
thank
an
you.
app. Yes, thank you. I'll be, yeah.
So
great.
that's been my project lately, is going through and trying to do all his slides. So that way, you know, because they're just sitting there in the cabinet rotting away. So I figured we'll scan them. That way you can get rid of the actual slides and we'll save these digitally.
Please do that. The reason I have this stuff is I went to visit my aunt and uncle. Long story short, their basement flooded. So I'm going through all these
Ugh.
boxes, and
Oh my
they
goodness.
had my dad's stuff. So I went out and got plastic boxes, got all the stuff dried. Thankfully, a lot of stuff wasn't destroyed. But please make it digital, or please just put it on higher ground, please. Please, thank you.
Katie, I just wanted to say thank you to you as well. And I also wanted to let you know that I will be in DC for the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Service for my dad. And I would like to pass out pamphlets.
Yes.
So I didn't know, I mean, I could order them myself if that would be easier to have, them to send them directly to me or whatever. I wouldn't mind, contributing to that cost or whatever, because when we go, it's there's hundreds and hundreds of people there at the wall, and everybody gets up and they get to say their dad's name or their mom's name. And it's a really cool experience.
In memory program.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
I've done my
Yeah.
husband. I haven't done my dad yet, but I did my husband.
Yes,
I like
it's
that.
very cool.
And I think, I mean, as a group, we don't mind putting the cost out there. I think that, I'm from the belief of you spend money to, to make money, really. I mean, if we want to grow this group, which is the idea, is to continue to grow this group and, someday to be sitting on this call with, 100 people on it. And so in order to do that, we have to get the word out. And I think that, and that's why I made the decision before. I think I had ordered 200 brochures. And that's why I made the decision to bump our order up to, the 5,000, so that I don't have to say, oh, I only want to send you 20 brochures. I only have enough for, I think that brochure cost is just going to be something we're going to be taking on going forward to continue, to build our group. So yeah, Shannon, we will talk, because I will, I'll make that order, and there's a possibility I can just do 2 separate orders and, send one order directly to you. But if not, I don't mind taking on, I've personally on some costs too. I don't mind, because
Yeah, I just thought, it would be a great thing, because every time I go to one of those in DC, it's just I wanted to be a part of a group to honor him, and to educate people. And it's like in the schools here, I live in Maryland, they don't teach you about Vietnam. They're like, oh, it happened between this time period and that time period, and that's all we're telling you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not, I want to honor my dad, for everything that he did.
Shannon, where in Maryland are you?
I actually live in Dundalk.
Yeah, okay.
But my daughter lives in Pasadena, which is right across the bridge.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm usually in Pasadena.
Okay, I live in Harford County, Bel Air.
Oh, okay. So you're not that far from me.
Nope.
That's really cool.
Yeah, we should meet up at Pizza John's. Do
I
you
love-
know Pizza John's? Not Papa
No.
John's.
Papa
You've never
John's.
been to Pizza John's?
I never been to Pizza John's.
In Essex, y'all should Google it because they do ship nationwide. I can't believe I'm saying Pizza John's. Yeah. Essex.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
email me.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. All right. Sorry, everybody.
It's hilarious. All right.
Shannon, what you're saying is very true. My dad's VBA unit does an annual scholarship, an essay scholarship, and they're running into what they're finding is the kids that are in high school have no connection with veterans from the Vietnam War. They grandfathers, uncles, or otherwise.
They have no idea. Like they have no idea at all.
They're getting so few submissions of essays, and it's just because the juniors and seniors in high school don't know any Vietnam veterans.
Yeah. Well, and we've got a lot of work to do. Definitely have our work cut out for us, but that's what we get to do is continue to teach, continue to, educate, continue to advocate. And, like I said, we got our work cut out for us. So
Yeah, young people today, Vietnam is probably like Civil War to we were growing up, ancient
Yes.
history.
yeah.
But that's okay because we're here to change that.
That's
So
right.
moving right along.
I've spent a lot of time trying to preserve the Civil War, so I'm time to move on to Vietnam War too.
Yes, I love it. I love it. All right. Well, this was a great meeting tonight. I absolutely, you got a lot of, I like the chat. I like getting to connect with you guys, getting to know everybody, everybody getting to know each other. So thank you for everyone that came on tonight. I will post this. This is recorded, so I'll go ahead and post this online along with our other meetings. They're all recorded, and the slides. Feel free to email me. I know sometimes when I email people, it goes into spam now. So that was fun to find out that I'm now spam. But today it was bound to happen eventually.
The spam queen.
I am the spam queen. So, but yeah, let me know if you have any questions about anything tonight, and any feedback. If you want to be a part of any of the subgroups, if you want to be a part of the board and I don't have your name and you want to be on the ballot, let me know. And other than that, over the next week, you should be getting some emails from me and hearing from me, and just just continue to provide feedback. And thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Good
Katie.
night.
Have a
Nice
great
meeting
day.
y'all.
Thank
Have a good night.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.